being led out of the system by Rebecca Stott, Milena Mires and Ellie Wilson there, herself a former Victory player. City would be aware that the last time Melbourne Victory were able to beat them was in the 2023 elimination final. That was a one-off game, a 3-all draw that went to penalties. Such consideration won't have to be thought about until next weekend and the second leg. For now, it is simply about establishing and putting your best foot forward. Here's the win probability. City edging it ever so slightly, and a draw with a decent percentage as well. Historically, City 11 wins to Victory's 8, 5 draws. But crucially, Melbourne City 3 wins and 3 draws and no defeats in the last 6 meetings. It was a scoreless stalemate when they met at Victory's home and away home ground, the home of the Matildas. But when they met at Amy Park back on the 23rd of December, it was arguably the best game of the home and away season. Melbourne Victory took the lead, only for City to come from behind and win 2-1. And so it is a venue that these teams know well, and they walk out onto Amy Park, hoping that today will be the third last game of their Ninja A-League season, because it means they will be advancing to a grand final. Angelina's bought the violin for this one. And among the pageantry of the pre-game, the mascots are having a great time as well. So to the refrains of Stand By Me, Melbourne Victory, the nominated home team for this match, make no changes to the 11 that defeated Canberra United 3-1 in the elimination final. Just one change on the bench. Sienna Saveska returns to the substitutes, with Sienna Teixeira making way. And for Melbourne City, it's 3 changes. They haven't played since the first weekend of last month. Milena Mires was rested for that game. She replaces Melissa Barbieri. Holly McNamara and also Shelby McMahon return to the starters. No Australia under-17 representatives available. They're all away, meaning that it is a totally overhauled bench, including the likes of Caitlin Carriage, potential debutante, third-choice goalkeeper Ayana Ayayagi, and also Alexia Apostolakis, rounding out Michael Matriciani's matchday squad. So those are how the two teams are lining up. Let's take a look at the gaffers. Jeff Hopkins there with his assistant Jono Clemente. Whether it was in the final home and away round against Perth or after the elimination final against Canberra last weekend, it's been heightened emotion. Hopkins, normally a fairly animated character at the best of times, but particularly in the last 2 weeks. While Michael Matriciani, he'll just be hoping to cast off some of last season's demons. Semi-final heartbreak at the hands of the Central Coast, and then a penalty shootout defeat in the Asian Champions League final. Sophie Allen has been entrusted with the final in just her 11th A-League match. A refereeing young star on the rise, given the whistle today. Assistants Paola Orlandi and Maggie Price, and the 4th official is Caitlin Williams, and the referee's decision is final. There's no VAR. Rihanna Policina scored when the teams met at Amy Park in December, and in doing so completed the set of having scored against every Ninja A-League opponent. She had a number of successful seasons at Melbourne City, but crossing the divide has worked out splendidly for her. And speaking of first goals against a particular opponent, Holly McNamara had been unsuccessful in 5 head-to-head matches against Victory, but scored against them for the first time with what was the match winner back on December 23. Amy Park really is a picture for this one. Melbourne City know that if they advance through these 2 legs, they will host the grand final. Melbourne Victory, as the 6th placed team in the league, know that if they advance, they're going to be away to either Brisbane or Wellington, depending on who wins the other semi. So we're set for kickoff. And Melbourne Victory, attacking the left of your screens, get the first leg of this Ninja A-League semi-final underway. And as Carly Rossbacken consolidates possession, I welcome former Matilda and A-League Women's Champion Grace Gill. Grace, how exciting. We're ready for semi-final play.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Great to be here. Finals football, and what a matchup. A Melbourne derby in a semi-final. Like there wasn't already enough to play for at this point of the season. It's game on here tonight.
Leah Davidson with a roaming run into the midfield. Over to Rossbacken on the right. And Rossbacken into the defensive half. Rebecca Stott and Taylor Otto. Both teams with a New Zealand international and an American as their centre-back pairing. Kayla Morrison and Claudia Bunge, the opposite numbers for Melbourne Victory. As we see Letitia McKenna moving through the left to 18 Keane, trying to avoid coughing up possession as Taylor Ray sweeps in to claim the ball and play it back to Grace Marr. Now Chelsea Blissett with an early touch, and here is Morrison driving along clearance, and Grace, perhaps the two most intriguing selections both come from the Melbourne City side. Danella Buttress still shaking off a head knock suffered on under-20 duty, so she hasn't been past fit to make the bench. Stay with Briley Henry here, running onto this long ball, down on the wing. Henry cuts onto her left and Morrison clears away. Holly Furphy watching the ball bounce on. And then the other interesting one, Alexia Apostolakis, captain of the Australia under-20s team, remains on the substitutes bench as well for Melbourne City.
Yeah, really interesting matchup tonight between these two teams. We know Melbourne Victory, the experience of Jeff Hopkins, the defensive mindset he's spoken about year on year, and a valiant effort, a really strong performance last week from Victory against Canberra United to get them to this point of the season. And City now, they've had a few weeks off to wait for this game. And you mentioned it, the renewed bench, the freshness, the players coming back in, but some selections that certainly ask a question of Michael Matriciani's decisions and the way in which this match will shake out. One thing's for sure, it's that both sides very strong starting 11s and equally as strong off the bench tonight.
Daniel Turner, who popped up to score the match-winning goal in City's last game, right at the end of their 2-1 win away to Newcastle. In her first season in Australia, the 34-year-old English player, vastly experienced in the top two flights of English football. Here's Milena Mires with a clearance high and long. Keane brings the ball down. Grace Marr has her pocket picked by Leah Davidson. Now Letitia McKenna out to the right. Briley Henry, great first time touch, and a shot from Davidson through traffic and across the face and out. Leah Davidson still hunting for her first Melbourne City goal. She hasn't scored since she was a Brisbane Roar player.
And Davidson, one of several capped Matildas in this Melbourne City side, as is Alexia Apostolakis, who you mentioned a little earlier, on the bench. So plenty of experience.
Chelsea Blissett is running into trouble against Briley Henry, but Victory will regain possession. Blissett at the centre of a battle of her own to get into the starting 11 this season. Was injured during the first quarter of the season and then had to displace Alana Janchevsky, who is on the bench for Victory today, but has done so, now appearing for the 9th time during this campaign. Holly McNamara, Kayla Morrison well positioned. All the way back to Courtney Newbon. And now Claudia Bunge, the New Zealand international. Finds Taylor Ray with the pass. Ella O'Grady on the right side of attack. Under a bit of a cloud with a shoulder injury. We were told she had to pass a fitness test in order to start today. So O'Grady, who scored 2 goals against Canberra, one of them a diving header, which she really got crunched in and has perhaps been feeling the effects ever since.
Yeah, really robust is Ella O'Grady, and she had an excellent performance against Canberra last week. That physicality, and if she is nursing a bit of a sore shoulder, number 7 for Melbourne Victory, we might see her just hesitate in some of those physical contests this afternoon. We'll keep a close eye on it.
Victory taking their time to throw the ball in deep in the attacking half now. Laura Pickett. And a header away by Danielle Turner. Pickett with the throw in again, and Turner with another volley away. .34th career game today for the 22-year-old Pickett. Was an unused sub in last season's grand final, so no doubt we'll be thrilled to have retained her spot through this campaign in the starting 11. You really have to earn it as a young player under Jeff Hopkins. I think he would still consider Laura Pickett a young player at 22. As we see a deflection out here, and Rihanna Pollicina has earned Melbourne Victory a corner kick, and this is where we know they can be so dangerous. They have corner goals in each of their last 2 games.
It looks as though it's Grace Maher over to take as well, who we know has a really delightful left boot. Looking for the in-swinger and some great aerial targets too, of course. Kayla Morrison, Claudia Bunge, always looking to be the target on the end of some of these set pieces.
Ella O'Grady getting a telling off from the referee. You can just see under that right sleeve how buffed out it is with the padding and the strapping on the shoulder. Big pack of players inside the 6-yard box. Here comes the corner from Grace Maher. Looking for Morrison. Good defensive header away from Rebecca Stott. And then Briley Henry volleys it to herself and then away. Bunge with the flick header on. McNamara helping out the defence. Briley reaches up to the ball but can only clear it as far as Chelsea Blissett and Melbourne Victory consolidate. Kayla Morrison now, Pollicina wide on the left. Blissett, Holly Furphy making a run. And Shelby McMahon sticking to task, marking Furphy. Taylor Ray. Furphy. Ray, first time ball to Pollicina. And now Blissett. Furphy making an aggressive underlapping run and keeping the City defence on their toes.
Yeah, great pressure from Victory. It's asking a few questions of City's defence. Nice little give and go, 1-2 touch football from the Victory girls in tight spaces.
Pollicina trying to roll her marker and face the penalty area, but well defended by Ross Backen. So Grace Maher concedes a bit of ground. Pickett to Rachel Lowe. O'Grady. Press picks up from Letitia McKenna, and she did affect the pass from Kayla Morrison, but it still found Chelsea Blissett, and Blissett now is taken to ground, not helped by Briley Henry falling in her back, but a free kick mid-range.
Yeah, Blissett's done well there. After a strong performance last week against Canberra, maintains her spot in the starting 11, just invites the pressure from 2 City players, and you think this kind of distance, a little far out for a direct shot, but certainly a good area to find a nice delivery into a pack of players. City have been under a bit of pressure absorbing the last few minutes.
It was a cleverly worked free kick from Melbourne City that undid Victory in their meeting at Amy Park earlier in the season. Victory with a conventional delivery here. Morrison sneaking out, putting it across the face. Otto with a clearing header. Keane only as far as Lowe with a volley. Mires saves. O'Grady tried to improvise a strike. And Melena Mires, the Spanish stopper, comes up with a big double save.
Well, massive moment for Mires and for Melbourne City. Rachel Lowe, given all the time in the world to line up this strike. She's such a technician, is Lowe. But City sitting back off way too much on that occasion.
Now Ross Backen trying to surge into the attacking half, evades 2 opponents, passed it into a duel for McMahon, and it ricochets out of Shelby McMahon.
Well, there's a bit to unpack about that. Just look how much the City players sat off, allowed the ball to drop. Rachel Lowe had all the time in the world to hit that sweetly, and she did. Mires needing a big save, goes with the correct arm, and then O'Grady, maybe a little frustrated at herself, knew that there was a really big opportunity there.
So the first major flashpoint in the game is Melbourne Victory putting a shot on Melena Mires' goal. differential low. Only the 3 goals this season, but has found scoring form in the Big Blue in the penultimate home and away round, and then scored the opening goal against Canberra United last weekend. Here's Davidson playing it out, well, hoping for Briley Henry, but the ball just bounced on a little narrow down to Courtney Newbon. Pickett, Taylor Ray, able to run into space, being pursued. Stott comes across, Ray persisting, and City eventually closed things down. Stott to Letitia McKenna, she can turn, play it out to 18 Keane on the left. Keane against Pickett. Keane, a stutter step, takes on Pickett. Both teams think it's their ball, but it is going to be a first corner kick of the match for Melbourne City at the opposite end.
Well, that chance afforded by the good play from Letitia McKenna, the ability to face forward under her first touch, find the pass out wide. Nadine Keane loves to run and players one-on-one. Wanted to get that on her right foot and couldn't quite. Good defending by Pickett.
So McKenna, first club game since winning that Matilda's cap in the match against Malawi. Here comes the corner. In swing it to the near post. Morrison heads away. And then Taylor Ray with a half volley to clear. So Victory see off their first defensive corner of the contest. McKenna, only the 3 goals in 20 appearances this season, but today's her 138th Inter-A-League game at the age of just 23. She's more or less been an ever-present, whether it's been Perth, Brisbane or Melbourne City, ever since she made her debut as a 15-year-old, originally from Perth. Turner, bringing Holly McNamara into the game. Crossfield pass is going to be backtracked and intercepted by O'Grady. Just a bit too much grabbing. O'Grady with a hand over the shoulder of Davidson to concede the free kick.
Yeah, I think she gave herself away on that one, O'Grady. Just grabbing around the shoulders. She thought maybe she'd let go in just the nick of time, not to be.
Very expressive player, Ella O'Grady, really engaged with the game already. So another mid-range set piece to consider here for the Victory defence. You can see keeping quite a high line. Runners break. McNamara nearly met it. Stotted run offside there, but McNamara came through in the backdraft and very nearly connected with the ball.
Yeah, she knew how close that was. Little wry smile as well, and what ended up being a really good delivery. Yes, Stott offside, McNamara, well-timed run. Morrison perhaps a little distracted by the run of Stott, left McNamara in acres of space.
It's an interesting tactic from Melbourne City. Stott broke early enough that you wouldn't dare suggest it was mistimed. It seemed very deliberate. And after Melbourne City's set-piece prowess in the first Melbourne derby of the season, you can imagine that with the best part of a month on the training pitch, Michael Matriciani may have dreamt up something new. Here's Grace Maher, asking a lot of Furphy with the pass, and Melena Mires able to collect the ball.
Face forward, Tay! Get wider and forward!
Mires just daring Victory to come and chase her here. And now the press is led by O'Grady. Turner up to the halfway line. Keane. McKenna wants to switch flanks and measures the pass to Rostbacken. Now Briley Henry. Veering central. McKenna, a deft touch into the path of McMahon. Turner working with Keane, and a great little step to get past Pickett. And now Keane looks up at the rest of the Victory defence, drives it into Grace Maher, and that's great one-on-one defending from Maher.
A great explosive step from 18 Keane. Maher alert to the danger, gets the timing right. Just a little push past Pickett.
Keane, a player filled with confidence in the back half of the season. Here's Turner, a sweeping cross, and Newbon very comfortable. Riley Henry, perhaps not an aerial threat to challenge the goalkeeper, coming from a little too far away. So signs for Melbourne City. They are building into the game. Holly McNamara yet to put her stamp on it though. Victory's own Holly Furphy, trying to attack here. Drawing a throw in. A sliced clearance here from Rost back in. Henry trying to keep it in. Victory argue it's their throw, but the ball is live at the feet of Stott. And City can build from the back.
It's the same game of cat and mouse, Melina Mires, but look at how much space there is all of a sudden from Victory's top player to their defensive line. Not even able to see their furthest back player opening up the space between the lines, which ultimately makes things a little too comfortable for City, but Victory on this occasion do pinch it back.
Pollicina not in a hurry to go forward though. Pickett back to Pollicina. Morrison. And a really aggressive first touch from Blissett to run in off the line. Low. Maher. Furphy won't be able to run the pass down, and it goes out for a goal kick. Of course, this semi-final is contested over 2 legs, so the result today carries over to next week. There is no away goals rule either. It's just pure aggregate over the 2 legs. Short goal kick here from Stott, working with Mires. This time, there will be no cat and mouse. Mires decides to deliver long and back the speed of 18 Keane. It's able to get over the top. Keane as Pickett backtracks. Bides her time and cutting in, and then fell just off balance when it was time to make a pass. Pollicina fouled, being followed by the 17-year-old Shelby McMahon. Hard to believe it's already the 3rd final series for McMahon. The Gold Coast youngster who moved down to Melbourne to join City.
Well, she's really announced herself on the A-League stage this last 18 months, Shelby McMahon. Versatile in her role in the midfield. We've seen on a few occasions push a little higher when needed, but plays with quite a level of maturity for such a young player.
Turner, Keane. McKenna back to McMahon. Can City advance the ball? That's the question. McKenna decides safety first, back to Rebecca Stott. Stott looking for McNamara, outsteps Morrison with authority. And plays the pass straight to Rostbacken, so pressure only temporarily relieved. Turner. Keane trying to round Pickett again. This time there's a cluster of Victory players closing in, but that left a gap for McNamara. Wide on the left. What's on in the penalty area? McNamara looking to pinpoint Henry, and the follow-up header is saved. Newbon denies Davidson. It was courageous from Henry to win the initial header, and then Leah Davidson another chance on goal.
Well, building at the moment for City. And you talk about courageous, but look at this from Chelsea Blissett. Gets the body across, does just enough to put Briley Henry off target. Gets the body in the way. Blocks the shot, and Leah Davidson there to interrupt Newborn as well.
Sydney's fans with a drum right behind this corner from Letitia McKenna. Urging the ball in, it's a near post delivery. Back out to the corner taker, McKenna, and this time caught, and a foul as well on Courtney Newborn. No time wasted arguing about the severity of the foul. Out to Blissett, blocked away. It gives us a chance to get down to the sideline. Jake Barker-Dace joins us. Jake, what are you observing down there?
Well, Teo, I'm just watching the partnership building here between Claudia Bunge and Kayla Morrison. How they're going to handle Holly McNamara tonight. It's a battle of two brains here, because you've got the concentration aspect with Holly McNamara. She's not always in the game, but she's one of those strikers that only needs one or two chances to really capitalise and cause you problems. Then on the other hand, you've got the physical aspect. She's one of the fastest strikers in the league, and if Melbourne City can find her in behind, Kayla Morrison and Claudia Bunge are going to be really struggling to keep up with her pace. So they've got to really think their way through this one. They've got to be concentrating the whole 90 minutes of this first leg and the second leg. She's an absolute nightmare to mark, so we've got to keep an eye on this and how they handle the electric striker from Melbourne City.
We saw it on that last City forward foray that if there's too much attention on one player, that leaves McNamara unmarked somewhere else. Thank you, Jake. Here's Mirez with a long ball, backing the speed of McNamara, and Morrison across, covering defender. Back to Newborn, got to be careful, squeezes out the pass. And right on cue, we see how Melbourne Victory are dealing with Holly McNamara.
Well, the good thing about Morrison and Bunge is that they're well versed in playing alongside one another. In seasons gone by, they've been one of the toughest defences to break down. And we often see that shadowing where Kayla Morrison just sits back a little. She provides the covering role. Really good anticipation of the flight of the ball, and Morrison comes across to cover, as she did on that occasion. Good use of the body just to get in front of McNamara, who we know is lightning quick for City.
Melena Mirez, very confident goalkeeper. Always willing to roam outside the penalty area and join the outfielders, creating an extra number. Does come with a degree of risk.
And this is the part that is intriguing for me, because as Victory squeeze up, the space just gets stretched and stretched between the lines, and then City have more room to operate in. This has worked out for them on a few occasions now. I think Victory really need to consolidate that defensive shape. They're just getting a bit drawn out by City's tactics.
McKenna. Taylor Otto. Turner. Fair handball against McKenna. The referee perfectly positioned, saw nothing untoward. Laura Pickett wins the ball away for Victory. Now O'Grady. Trying to build a head of steam. We haven't really seen her flying at top speed just yet. And she's foiled by McMahon on this occasion. Keane into the middle. Ross Backen. Quick head check for what's on.
I think O'Grady is a little hurt after that challenge as well. Just got a bit of contact. That shoulder's certainly giving her some grief.
Davidson playing such an advanced role. And even though that pass hasn't connected, maybe that's what Michael Matriciani was speaking about pre-game when we heard him talk. We'll look at the O'Grady injury here. Now she's come off worse for wear, but Davidson more advanced. Maybe that's what he meant when he said that they were training for something different against Melbourne Victory today. The immediate concern is Ella O'Grady came into this game with a pre-existing issue, and I think the emotions of knowing that maybe she won't be able to continue is starting to flow in.
Yeah, I think she's in a bit of trouble here. And we've heard that she picked up a knock in training, and today was going to be a real test as to how she could operate. A couple of little contact points, and she's in a bit of pain here.
Down to Jake on the sideline. Jake, Kennedy White hasn't been sent to go and warm up just yet, so what's your gut feel? Is it game over for Ella O'Grady, or do you think Victory are going to get a sub ready?
Well, it's not a surprise to see Ella O'Grady in some pain. I was told yesterday that she did go for a bump on a player in training. She missed the player, fell over, hurt her shoulder in an awkward fashion. She had a bit of a question mark over whether she'd be able to start tonight's game. She got through the warm-up, which was her fitness test to be able to make the starting 11. And they did have her in there, but you can see she's heavily strapped. And then, yeah, one bump early has got her back on her knees here in some pain. So I think we're going to see Kennedy White definitely feature in this game. Whether Ella O'Grady feels okay to go again, we're not sure. But Melbourne Victory were very much aware that she had a sore shoulder coming into this one. So we'll see if Kennedy White is getting ready. But she seems very relaxed on the sidelines here, so it doesn't look like it.
O'Grady, and there's all the subs, and no shortage of options. Sofia Sakalis, Alana Janchevski, Sienna Silvesca, or Kennedy White could all reasonably be subbed on for Ella O'Grady, depending on how many positions you want to disrupt and tweak as a result.
Yeah, plenty of fantastic options on the bench for Victory tonight, and it would feel a real shame for Ella O'Grady just off the back of the performance last week against Canberra, and certainly a profile of player. Well, you know, she's so physical, she's so aggressive, does not take a backward step.
Don't forget, tomorrow on Paramount Plus, 10 to 5 Australian Eastern Standard Time, the second leg. Spencer Park is sold out, so the only way to watch is on Paramount Plus for Brisbane Roar against the Wellington Phoenix. And hello to any players and staff from those two teams watching on as part of counting down the minutes and the hours until they get to go out and contest for the other spot in the grand final.
A couple of huge games coming up. Spencer Park, sellout, Parua Park the following week, all but sold out in Wellington as well.
Every time it looks like a sellout, they find a way to bring in more seating, more temporary stands, which is great to see. Slip here from Morrison and Newbon. 7 clean sheets this season for the Victory goalkeeper, coming off 11 last campaign. And out to collect the ball. Furphy. Now Blissett. Tough pass to control, but Furphy keeping Victory in possession and then gives it away. Holly McNamara can turn and burn. McNamara bides her time and then shoots, and Morrison made the block. Heart rate's elevated for Victory, but they survive.
Oh, a gift of a pass to Holly McNamara from her namesake Holly Furphy, straight to her feet. And almost left McNamara in a couple of minds of what to do with it.
Taylor Otto, Melbourne City, going to maybe seize upon a bit of insecurity. Victory having been rattled a moment before. McMahon, Henry free as a bird on the right. And then sliced away by Marr. It's going to pitch and then be contested, and Blissett does well. No thoughts of conceding a corner. Furphy, a loose pass intercepted by Ross back in this time. And now McMahon, and no one attacking the near post for City. Means it's an easy collect, but a tough minute for Victory.
Well, McNamara could turn and run. The retreating effort of Bunge, of Morrison, and they managed to do just enough to close down the space.
Morrison's clearance driven over the sideline. Past 100 games this season. Morrison, 29 years of age now. Went through the college system in America. Played in Australia for the Bulleen Lions in 2018. Stayed in the country more or less ever since, save for a little COVID spell in Sweden and a World Cup replacement gig in the NWSL back in her home country, but it's more or less been synonymous with Melbourne Victory ever since 2021.
Well, isn't she an important part of this Victory team? Not just on the field, what she does, leading by example, Kayla Morrison, but off-field as well, her leadership, her voice, experience. Such a good character around the group to have.
Victory just having some troubles getting out of their defensive half at the moment.
Yeah, so far, Rossback and Henry down this right-hand side for City's defence, doing a really good job just managing the likes of a Holly Furphy and Blissett, who are having trouble breaking through those first couple of lines.
Jeff Hopkins having some fun. He's left his technical area almost up to the halfway line to get in the ear of Chelsea Blissett there. Fourth official having to follow him. Usher him back to the box. Here's Rachel Lowe. Had the shot on target earlier in the game, has not really been sighted since, but couldn't quite draw a corner there from McMahon.
Again, good defending by the 17-year-old McMahon. That's a clever quick throw by Blissett, and it's put City on their heels. Lowe thought she'd got away with one here, but that last little touch off the victory shin.
You got to ask, you got to play for it. Lowe absolutely knew that hit her shin last, but yeah, you don't know what angle the referee is watching from. Here's O'Grady persisting in the game. Ray. Otto, well aware of the danger of Pollicina, and you saw the shirt billow. Pollicina holding on just a little too much.
It's great defending from Taylor Otto. Just really good use of the body. Gets herself between Pollicina and the ball. Pollicina grabbing, grappling.
So 30 scoreless minutes ticked over at Amy Park. Melbourne victory with a shot that needed saving from Melena Mires, while City have threatened and created some nervous moments without a signature save from the goalkeeper Newbon just yet. Here's McNamara at the edge of the area and shooting high and wide. McNamara knows a decent half chance was there.
We're talking about Holly McNamara's return across her A-League appearances. Tonight, appearance number 56 in the A-League. In those prior 55, 38 goals. It's almost a 70% scoring rate across games. Just incredible return for the striker.
When you consider that she does have only one goal against Victory, doesn't have a great scoring record against Sydney FC, she really just mauls every other team in the competition. So I'm sure she'd love to find things like semi-final goals or a grand final goal and tick those off the list. As if she can, Melbourne City may well be hoisting the trophy in 3 weeks' time.
Well, they've been defensively so sound, that is Melbourne City. The regular season conceding just the 20 goals. Only better than them is Wellington Phoenix. Really strong defensive unit. But I'm unsurprised that at a little over the half an hour mark, Victory and City in a cagey 0-0. Two really good defensive teams just struggling to find a way through.
Otto trying to hurry things up with a pass to Henry. Great flick on. McMahon can follow the ball. Trying to juggle it to herself. Pollicina was there. And Morrison avoids conceding the corner.
Oh, what a touch from Briley Henry. Creativity over the top. Good run as well from McMahon, just finding herself in some more advanced areas.
McMahon. Back to Otto. Danielle Turner. Again, the central to right switch of flanks. This time it's Ross back and bringing it down. Stott. Henry left the ball for McNamara, and then the return pass. Furphy intervenes. Morrison able to twist a clearance, but only as far as Davidson, who's now dropped a little deeper. McMahon advances. Davidson's the one back covering a little bit more. Here's McMahon. And McKenna is trying to play it first time. It still might work out here for City. McNamara trying to nick it on. And Blissett, a natural left footer, able to hook the ball away. You can see the concentration is being tested though. Melbourne City doing what they do to so many teams, just knocking the ball around in dangerous territory, waiting for that one killer pass to unlock everything. Bunge. Keane goes to ground but bounces straight back up. For the drive, headed by Turner. Stott tumbling on. McKenna got the arms out of the way. Turner. McKenna protecting the ball. Bunge stooping to a header. O'Grady with a touch to Marr. Can Victory counter at speed? They're going to have to go backwards here with Lowe. Now Morrison decides to take the game on a little. Blissett. Not many Navy shirts in the attacking third, so everything slows down again.
Yeah, entirely vacant in what was a really positive first touch from Chelsea Blissett. She looked forward, and there's just this gap where Melbourne Victory need that attacking midfielder, the number 10. The playmaker absent on that last passage.
Look at O'Grady, what an aggressive touch, gets around Turner and now tries to burn off the entire City defence. The follow-up from Policina flashes across the face. But that's why Ella O'Grady wanted to stay in the game. That was really clever.
Well, certainly for Victory fans, it's great to see her still out there, Ella O'Grady. And Policina, well, she is more than capable from that kind of distance. Just slightly hooks the shot wide. Mirrors in two minds, you've got to say. Not sure whether to come or go.
So a link up there. Getting Victory out of their defensive half and allowing them to remind City that they pose an attacking threat. Even though City had just started to take over general play, dictate the tempo of the game. Otto. McKenna being pressured by Pickett. Now Turner. Pickett traps the ball. O'Grady not able to find a way past this time. Keane with the sidestep. Still plenty of work to do. Keane running against Ray and bursts past. 18 Keane cuts it across and intercepted by Grace Marr. And then a little nutmeg from Marr, and Keane commits a foul, taking exception. And the roll of the eyes says it all. But Grace Marr has stayed down here. Maybe a harder foul than it initially looked. How about this, though, Grace, from Ella O'Grady?
Well, the turn of speed, and she knows exactly what she's doing, Ella O'Grady. One touch, the second pass, the static Danielle Turner, who has to turn and chase. But it's really the explosiveness of O'Grady who affords this chance. And up the other end, Marr comes off a little sore from this challenge. The nutmeg gets a little clip on the way through from 18 Keane.
Were you the sort of player, Grace, that if someone tried to nutmeg you, you'd foul them before they pulled it off?
Absolutely not, Tao. Never think of it.
Marr's back up and running. And another collision here, this time Policina, who's going to bounce right back up after getting collected in the air by McMahon. And even though plenty of players have been teammates at previous clubs or NPL level, or have even crossed the divide between Victory and City and back and forth, this is a Melbourne derby. And maybe the tensions are just starting to bubble. We saw a great running battle between Rachel Lowe and Taylor Ray when these teams met earlier in the season. They've been... Sorry, Rachel Lowe and Leah Davidson when they met earlier in the season, but they've been playing in different zones of the pitch so far today. Here is Lowe trying to shield the drop of the ball. Marr hooks it over the shoulder. Turner clears away. Now Bunge leans into a header. Policina. Blissett slipped, and maybe that gives Henry a chance, but Henry's left the ball behind, and Blissett is back up to her feet. Morrison. Blissett. Trying to find Ray. And across comes Blissett with McKenna, and the referee makes the call in City's favour.
Well, it's a poor moment for Victory to give away the free kick. City weren't defensively organised. Rebecca Stott had found herself advanced and was retreating, getting back into shape. And a little shove just affords City time to take stock, get themselves back behind the ball and reset.
See, Letitia McKenna had her left boot knocked off there, so Michael Matriciani's got the poker face on at the moment. It's ticking over as he observes, well, maybe the poker face just broke. I think we got an idea of how he's feeling.
I don't think either team, either coach, Jeff Hopkins nor Michael Matriciani, would be particularly panicked at this point in time. Plenty of football to be played yet.
So McKenna has got the shoe sorted. Melbourne City 5 minutes plus stoppage until half-time. Stott attacking. 1-2 with McNamara. Can't find a way through the combination of Bunge and O'Grady. Bunge clears it to perhaps where she might have hoped O'Grady would be running to, but happy to find the safety of the touchline. Otto prompted to speed things up as Lowe came chasing. Good one-on-one defending by O'Grady. Dispossesses Keane, finds Policina. And Policina only had Furphy breaking ahead of the ball, and the City defence converged.
I've seen that picture play out a few times now for Victory when they win the ball back in good areas of the field, but then the first glance forward, there's just not enough Victory players in close support. And in that case for Policina, it's just a short pass. She needs to be able to connect to feet. Doesn't have a teammate within Kui.
Henry really cleverly taking the ball past Blissett, but Ray accountable and getting goal side. The build-up continues. Davidson and McNamara. And now Blissett able to clear away.
The difference being there for City. When they do win possession back, they have that tight possession. They have an easy option just to connect a 5-yard pass. Such is the style of the City group football. Keeping the ball in tight spaces.
Rossbacken. Short pass to Davidson. Henry. And now the referee gives the free kick. And, well, did City already use their advantage there or not? I think we heard the shout from the bench, and that's what Victory might be arguing, that City are getting to double dip here, but they have a free kick in a dangerous position.
Well, there was the foul. Advantage played. There's the attempt there, the clearance. The foul is then brought back to the initial contact from Chelsea Blissett.
They haven't even put the illusion of a left-footed free kick taker here, so a direct shot on goal would have to be extremely precise. Still, 2 in the wall. Letitia McKenna with Taylor Otto hanging out the back of this pack. Can't get the elevation on the free kick. Headed away by Mark. Turner. All the tall players have stayed forward. Otto, one of them, flicking the header on. Bunge clears away. Furphy not able to control the ball on the chest. Keane. Now McNamara, a little toe poke. And Morrison deflected it out. Did so legally. And wearing McNamara like a glove.
Yeah, well done again by Morrison. And that battle shaping up really nicely. McNamara and Morrison. We've seen them go head-to-head on a few occasions so far in this opening half.
All of City's corners have come from this left-hand side, which favours the right-footed delivery of Letitia McKenna. She didn't quite catch a free kick to bring her teammates into it a moment ago. Will the corner be a different story? To the near post, it's all Victory. And then the follow-up, McMahon, back out to McKenna. Furphy charging in and scythes down McKenna. We're going to see the first yellow card of the game. Holly Furphy goes in the book.
Well, the referee was in a close position to see the contact. You can see just the arrival of Furphy is a little late to that of McKenna.
McKenna not happy with Furphy. And so the attacker now has a yellow card. And maybe it'll be third time lucky here for Letitia McKenna, because free kick from the right, corner kick from the left. Both of them immediately cleared by Victory. Little free kick from the left. Be more to her liking. Again, Otto lurking well beyond the pack of players, ready to run in from deep. McKenna goes direct on target, and it's found a way in. Letitia McKenna's free kick proves too hot to handle, and Melbourne City take the lead in their semi-final first leg. It'll go down as a 4th goal of the season for Letitia McKenna. And an inquisition will be held in the Victory defence.
Well, it's a delightful free kick on the Harvey Norman replay. Letitia McKenna puts the whip, puts some pressure on Courtney Newbon's goal, and it sails through completely uncontested. Not a single touch from Victory defenders nor a City attack. McKenna has her name on this one. Courtney Newbon leaves it unsighted, and in it nestles to the back of the net late in the half. A little touch, a little deflection just as it came through.
Well, I think Newbon's gone to catch it, and it's glanced in off her left arm. So Letitia McKenna will be credited with the goal. It was a shot on target, but shock for Victory. And as we've ticked 40 seconds into 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half, it's Melbourne City who score first. And in a game that at times was an arm wrestle, a staring contest, Melbourne City will feel as though they have been rewarded for trying to be the aggressors in the game.
That's not good news for Victory. City haven't lost a single game when they've gone ahead first across the course of the season. They know how to manage a game. This is City knowing how to manage a situation, and they've got a pretty important lead just before the halftime break.
O'Grady. Policino. Morrison. And Blissett. First time ball knocked away by Henry, but it falls kindly to Ma. Blissett. Able to round Henry and complete it. Henry caught Blissett. Well, the Victory bench are up in arms. They think it should be a yellow card.
Yeah, hard to disagree on that occasion. I think that should be a yellow card as well, and perhaps Riley Henry a little lucky to get away without the caution, and you can hear quite clearly the thoughts of Jeff Hopkins.
And well, that's the reality of football. Apologies if you caught some of the language from Jeff Hopkins, but that's how it happens sometimes. Caitlin Williams is the 4th official. Just a free kick. Can Victory answer before half-time? Policina wasting no time. A flat-driven free kick. Low, able to trap it as it reared up. Ma, decision time. Over to Policina. Now Grace Ma, who is going to play the key pass, though. There's only seconds left of 3 minutes stoppage. Ma doesn't want to play the ball. Pickett. And now Taylor Ray. O'Grady. Can City get a stop? Will Victory do it for them here? They've only got seconds left now. Pickett to Taylor Ray. Low as the 3 minutes expires. The referee had a glance at the watch, lets things continue, but it's Victory's throw. They're not going to load up for a long throw here. Can they take it quickly enough? They're daring the referee to blow for half-time, but Sophie Allen is happy to let Victory have this one last attack. Here's Bunge. Morrison. Ma. Over to Blissett. Ma again. Blissett and Furphy. Now Ma, the forward pass, headed away by Stott. Policina reaches out to control the ball. And a clearance for Melbourne City. And after 4 additional minutes at the end of the half, that does prompt the whistle to go. So it's advantage Melbourne City, the Premier's lead. Letitia McKenna, 2 seasons in a row. She has scored in the first leg of the semi-final. And this time, it got the better of Courtney Newbon in the Victory goal. McKenna's 4th of the campaign separates the 2 sides, but there is plenty of football to be played. It's Melbourne Victory 0, Melbourne City 1. Stay with us. Marlene Masto, Andy Harper and Ashley Sykes will break it all down during our halftime show on the other side of this short break.
good. Thanks, guys. Yeah, those pills have kicked in. Thanks. Oh, I just need a beer now. Beer or a red wine, that'd be great.
What an opening half of football. It's been here at Amy Park in the first leg of the semi-final in the Ninja A-League. It is Melbourne City who take a 1-0 lead into the second half, but Victory not completely out of it. They had their chances early on. Now let's see if they can answer back to Melbourne City thanks to Letitia McKenna's goal. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Good to have you back with us here across Network 10 and Paramount Plus. Andy Harper, Ash Sykes. It was a pretty entertaining first half, but it was that goal from Letitia McKenna that really opened up things.
Yeah, I think Melbourne Victory struggled a bit today. They didn't quite have the opportunities to put Melbourne City back on their heels, Ash. So there's a lot of room for them to improve. But in the end, the thing that splits them is a pretty disappointing goal from a Victory viewpoint.
Yeah, I think it was sort of Newbomb was following the player, Stoddy running through rather than following the path of the ball. And, you know, you put it in dangerous areas like McKenna did at good pace, you're going to get a result.
Well, let's have a look at our Harvey Norman highlights now and see how that goal came about. So usually we talk about Melbourne Victory being the side to watch out for on set pieces, but Letitia McKenna, did she mean that or not, Ash?
Well, like I just said, I think if you put it in a dangerous area, you give yourself a chance. And it came in at pace, on the right arc. If it wasn't headed by Stott, it would have probably gone in like it did, Andy. And I mean, a kind of soft goal to concede in the end from a goalkeeper's perspective. I think she'd be disappointed with that one. But, you know, they were giving away a couple of free kicks in dangerous areas in a row there. So you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that the sequence of free kicks to which you've referred is a reflection of how much City have really controlled a lot of the game. But they've had their moments, Melbourne Victory. They did finish with a lot more possession. And actually, they've forced the best bit of goalkeeping we've seen in the half. It's a wonderful finish, and that is just a terrific save. Game in the balance, a big save from the keeper. Beautiful from Rachel Lowe. There's amazing technique to get that on target. And O'Grady The form she was in last week might have done something with that very difficult rebound opportunity. But, you know, I think it's in the first half, it's been on the near side for Melbourne Victory. Last weekend, Holly Furphy was so dangerous and so damaging against Canberra United. Has not had the same... she hasn't had the same impact, that's obvious. But I don't think the team is playing her well, and she's not maximising her own position. So if I'm in the Victory dressing room, that's chat point number one for the team. How do we get Holly better positioned so that we can get her in behind and turn Carly Rosbach around a bit?
She's having to come back and try and look for the ball a lot, which is not her strength. You want to see her running in behind the defence and sort of stretch that City defensive line. Without Furphy running behind, Polisina's not doing it. Lowe can't do it as well either. You need Furphy challenging the line in that way, and it brings out her strengths. So I think that's one big area Victory can focus on in the second half.
And Ash, if you're Jeff Hopkins, what are you saying to Courtney Newborn to keep her head up? Because as we know, Melbourne City, when they've scored first, they're undefeated this season.
It's a tough one to put pressure on her, but, you know, the thing they have to focus on is Melbourne City possession-wise, percentage-wise, tend to score a lot of their goals in the middle of the second half. Victory cannot let this goal right before halftime shake them. They need to come out in the front foot, forget what's just happened, and focus on your attack and chasing the game a little bit.
Well, let's see if Melbourne Victory can muster up a comeback in this second half. All right, that was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't go anywhere. We're building up to a huge second half here. And don't forget, the Alex Tobin and Claire Polkinghorne medals will be presented to the winners at this season's grand finals.
This year's Alex Tobin medal for the best player of the season, as nominated by the Paramount Plus football team, is brought to you by Ninja. And this season, Ninja is proud to introduce the Claire Polkinghorne medal to be awarded to the best player of the Ninja A-League season. Both medal winners will receive an incredible $30,000 and will each nominate a junior football club to win $10,000 worth of Ninja products. Make sure you're watching the grand finals, where we'll reveal our winners with thanks to Ninja.
Welcome back to the Network 10 coverage of the Ninja A-League semi-final. It's Melbourne City who head into the second half with a 1-0 lead, but there's plenty more action heading your way. So the men's big blue elimination final is right after this game. Coverage starts from 7 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon, the second women's semi-final will be played between Brisbane Roar and Wellington Phoenix at a sold-out Spencer Park. Now, in addition to the A-League finals, we've also got the Coppa Italia final between Lazio against Inter Milan on the 14th of May. Set your alarms to 4 a.m. for that one. Then it's the AFC Champions League 2 final between El Nassr and Gambo Osaka on Sunday, the 17th of May. So much football to look forward to right here on your home of football across Paramount Plus, but don't go anywhere. Second half kickoff here at Amy Park is just moments away.
There is the first half goal scorer, Letitia McKenna. And in this first leg of the Ninja A-League semi-final, Melbourne City lead 1-0 against Melbourne Victory. McKenna, who scored a free kick double last season at Amy Park against the Brisbane Roar on a night not too similar to this. And she is making this venue her stage once again. The recently capped Matilda. Melbourne Victory have had the halftime team talk to mull things over. And will they be able to find a way back into this particular game? Of course, there is next week. Venue still TBC. We know that the game will be on Saturday, but what we don't know is whether it will be a return to Amy Park or whether Melbourne City will host Control Cyber Pitch in the second leg. But for now, Melbourne Victory, Amy Park is home for the next 45 minutes. And they are the ones pursuing an equaliser as we get back underway. First leg of the Ninja A-League semi-final. And Grace Gill, as you rejoin me, neither team has turned to the bench during the halftime break. Ella O'Grady still fit to continue. And what are you expecting in the opening exchanges of the second half?
Well, it's such an interesting one in semi-final football when you've got the home and away leg, because it's a bit of risk v reward and how conservative Victory want to be. No doubt Jeff Hopkins will want to get back into this game, but also won't want to allow the floodgates to open by any means for City. So I think we'll see a somewhat conservative approach from both teams, but no doubt changes in the next 10 minutes or so.
Furphy up against Ross Backen. The cross squeaking through O'Grady and met solidly by Turner in defence. The clearance finds its way to Laura Pickett. Pickett to Taylor Ray. Now Claudia Bunge over to Kayla Morrison. City happy to stand and watch as Victory's defence knock the ball around. Pickett, O'Grady, Rachel Lowe, flanked by Taylor Otto, and a free kick.
That's better by Victory in the sense that Rachel Lowe's coming looking for the ball, wanting to receive contact at her feet. A little too heavy-handed through the back from Taylor Otto on that occasion.
So here's the goal scorer, McKenna, to 18 Keane. Turner. Pickett driving the ball out, so bit of a placid first 2.5 minutes. Jeff Hopkins giving us a rare look at his notepad, but it's a bit of a beautiful mind going on there, so good luck on the freeze frame if you're trying to decipher what his latest tactical musings are.
Well, you could hear him shouting that they were making it harder for themselves by not being in the right shape, being too deep. But I did think in the first half that Victory were actually getting a bit drawn out in their shape, and there was way too much space between the lines. Certainly a cagey opening few minutes of this second half. City, as mentioned, I think they'll be quite comfortable just to manage this game. There's inevitably chances that they create as the half wears on.
Again, the shouts of get up from Jeff Hopkins. Rachel Lowe is going to compel Melena Mires to play the ball out from the back. And Turner, it's a bad place to lose the ball near the sideline. It's right in front of the opposing bench. And all of the Victory substitutes were up as one there, appealing for the throw-in. Now they look to drive forward. Ma. Taylor Ray. Morrison has Chelsea Blissett hugging the sideline. Blissett, can she pick out a teammate? McMahon positioned herself well for the header. Blissett follows up, Ross back and clears away. Morrison. Blissett working with Rachel Lowe. Ma knocks it back to Laura Pickett. Brianna Policina. Good run from Ma. And can't keep it moving. Out to O'Grady. There was a bit of afters between Policina and Keane. Policina takes possession. Perhaps had a shooting channel open there, but wanted to force one more pass, and the ball is cleared away.
Well, patient this from Victory. And so far, credit to City's defence. They're really disciplined in their shape. Everyone knows their roles, and you can see no one's pinching out, biting too early.
Bunge with a sweeping cross, and Holly Furphy wills it goal bound, but not with any great power, just looping into the gloves of Melena Mires.
Yeah, a bit of a hopeful hit. And good anticipation by Holly Furphy to arrive and meet it. But it is really controlled play at the moment by Melbourne City.
Shelby McMahon allowed to drive into the attacking half and decides to take the game on. And Grace Maher turned her back on play, and even though she deflected the ball clear, the referee saw a free kick.
And again, great confidence by the 17-year-old McMahon, just driving into the space that was afforded to her. Eventually winning her team a free kick in an advanced position.
Set it up, Tish, was the cry from Michael Matriciani on the Melbourne City sideline. So his set-piece specialist didn't always hit the mark in the first half, but did score the only goal. And rather than play the ball quickly, Melbourne City want to send the tall timber forward. And a good defensive header from Claudia Bunge, tries to repel. McKenna, Keane, McNamara, Briley Henry. Rossbacken, another defensive header from Bunge. McNamara volleys again. Third time of asking for Bunge, and this time the offside flag is up in the first time in the game. Either team has had a player trapped offside.
Importantly, Bunge there time and time again. See the offside trap. As Otto was still in that position.
Rossbacken got to be careful here with the presence of Furphy. Mires bats down a save. And the advancing goalkeeper avoiding being lobbed. And the blink of an eye there, Melbourne Victory nearly had Holly Furphy in on goal. McNamara. Now City can sling down the other end. Keane shovels the ball on, and Laura Pickett clearing away. Ma caught by Keane. And the ball will have just enough on it to tail out for a goal kick.
Well, from one end to the other. Here's a look at this early ball over the top, which left things a little difficult at the back for Mires, who, to be fair, does really well. The advance in Furphy just tries to chip over the top. The pass back from Rossbakken doesn't have enough on it. Swats it away, does Mires.
Well, 6 clean sheets this season for Melena Mires. Had a pretty rocky introduction to the Ninja A-League last season, but still able to win the premiership. Definitely, from an individual statistical point of view, an uptick this season, but bottom line is Melbourne City top of the tree once again. Mires is an important part of that.
And 2 goalkeepers on the bench tonight as well. Beyond Melena Mires in the starting 11, Barbieri, and a possible debutant, Teo.
And swinging free kick here, headed away by Kayla Morrison. Taylor Ray thought she was interfered with contesting the header, but Victory will have possession regardless. Ray careful with the back pass. Davidson advancing. Newbon able to clear. And then volleyed on by Blissett. Yes, well, for those wondering why Melbourne City have 2 goalkeepers on the bench, the Australia under-17 national team is away playing in their AFC Women's Asian Cup. So you see Melissa Barbieri there in the fuchsia kit at one end of the bench, and Ayana Ayayagi, the former Brisbane Roar goalkeeper, never made an appearance for the club, sitting at the other end of the bench. So they've got 2 keepers because the likes of Kira Saris, Kai Jugovic and Isabella Racco are all away overseas. Now, Laura Pickett protesting and arguing her case, but Grace, what do you make of the call here?
Yeah, I don't think she can have too much argument. Just a bit of a clumsy arm through the back of Keane. It's a battle that on a few occasions Pickett has struggled just to keep with the pace of 18 Keane. Ultimately leading to, again, another free kick for City, which Victory hopefully have had a close look at during the half-time break.
Well, much further out than the free kick that McKenna scored from in the first half, but a similar sort of angle, just with a bit more distance. Is that a bit more time for runners to get into the goalkeeper's line of sight? McKenna tried to recreate it, and Grace Maher able to clear the ball away.
Great experience, Grace Maher, and what a job she did last week coming in against her former team, Canberra United, and again tonight, just shielding and floating in those really important spaces.
Daniel Turner takes the throw in to McKenna. Keane. McKenna. McMahon. Touched on by McNamara. McKenna back to McNamara. Saved by Newbon. And now 18 Keane cuts onto her left and scuffs it into the 6-yard box. McKenna denied. Last-ditch defending from the Victory. It's a corner, but it could have been so much more for City.
Oh, it's a passage of play that deserved a goal. Wonderful build-up from Melbourne City. In tight spaces, working their way around this Victory defence. They couldn't get the clean shot away. But the touch from McNamara. McKenna back to McNamara, who did get it cleanly. A solid pair of hands by Courtney Newbon to parry that away. But the build-up play for City was really lovely.
And now a corner is their reward. Are they honing in on a 2-0 lead? Low corner from McKenna. McNamara meets it. McKenna again. And it sits up for Davidson. No deflection. Out for a goal kick.
Well, training ground move, the short corner. McKenna received the return pass and Davidson just snatched at it. Couldn't keep it down at close range. Does feel like another one's building for City here.
Melbourne Victory. Can they find a circuit breaker to stop City here from overwhelming them? Taylor Ray, maybe she's the answer. Ella O'Grady. from the middle, out to the left flank, and Claudia Bunge, well, tried to usher the ball out, and it's backfired. McNamara goes to ground. The referee had a perfect view, and a shake of the head means it's play on. 18 Keane, Victory not off the hook just yet. McNamara's got to get back on side. Keane wins a corner kick. No respite for the Victory.
No respite for the Victory. No VAR in this semi-final. I thought Claudia Bunge had almost done enough. The contact with the trailing leg of McNamara is fair for a shout. Makes no contact with the ball, Claudia Bunge. Not a huge amount with McNamara in the end, but undeniably contact in the box.
Deep breaths for the New Zealand centre-back, McNamara. A couple of rueful shakes of the head, but referee Sophie Allam. It's finals for the refs too, the big stage. Here's the corner from McKenna. It falls in the 6-yard box. Keane was, in fact, it was McMahon sent sprawling, and the ball was cleared away. Turner. Right back to the edge of the penalty area. Great header from Morrison. Stott volleys on. Otto staying forward, heads it down, and offside. And well, the only player on the pitch to have been caught offside is the Melbourne City centre-back, Taylor Otto.
Absorbing pressure at the moment, Melbourne Victory. City on the charge. There's Otto again returning from that offside position. Great call from the assistant referee.
No thoughts of playing it short for Victory at the moment. They just need to spend some time in even neutral territory, never mind down in attack. Polisina not looking at the ball as she left into McMahon there. Easy call for the referee.
Victory haven't quite had the freedom or the luxury of getting players forward. Furphy has been better contained this week than what she was last week. We haven't seen her find much open ground. O'Grady obviously playing a little gingerly with a really sore shoulder, and you can tell she's been a little withdrawn on a few of the challenges that last week she was just bustling through. Not to say it's a game without chances for Victory. Just those little X factors about their performance last week have seemingly been stifled this afternoon so far.
Stott drives it right into Rachel Lowe. Polisina leaping legally this time. McMahon able to glide through, and then Keane not able to trap the ball. Keane wins the header. Right back on the job. Defending from the front. Taylor Ray able to step out of danger and now releases. Furphy is not going to be able to chase that down. Mirez needs no invitation to be a keeper sweeper and venture out of the box.
Perhaps Victory needing a few more of those moments. It's direct. It puts doubt in the mind of the City defences. And the touch from Taylor Ray in the middle of the park was really well worked.
Given away by Otto. Ray straight back to Otto. Holly McNamara came back and just deflected the pass from Taylor Ray. Did enough. A few uncharacteristic touches here. Henry's turn to give the ball away. And now Barr hurdles past the challenge of Rossbacken. O'Grady bombing forward in the middle, and not enough elevation on the cross. Shelby McMahon defends the ball away. Keane. Only McNamara ahead of the ball. McNamara, the wheels are spinning, but Claudia Bunge able to backtrack and get the ball to Newbon. We've crossed the hour mark. It feels like these are vital exchanges here. Melbourne City surging for a second. Melbourne Victory, for now, trying to limit the damage.
On that occasion, Claudia Bunge did get it right. Tracks the run of McNamara really well. Has a step for step. Just an assertive pass to clear any danger at the back for Victory.
Nikki Flannery standing next to the fourth official, so first change will be Victory's, perhaps at the next break in play. Maybe waiting for a while yet, though, as City stringing some passes together here. Keane trying to turn Pickett, and the foul given. And will that prompt Victory to make the sub? It will. So first change for either team, and it's Nikki Flannery, who's had an injury-hit season. She's trying to build her minutes up in time for finals, and she comes on for Ella O'Grady, who leaves the match under that injury cloud, but she's getting congratulations from the bench. And Flannery on for just her 6th appearance of the campaign. No starts, only 72 total minutes. She did manage to snare a goal away to Newcastle, but Grace, it's definitely not been the season Flannery was hoping for, with injuries interrupting it regularly.
Yeah, really tough season for Nikki Flannery. And all the context just given of the limited minutes she's had across the course of the regular season. This afternoon poses as a fair chunk of time for Flannery to stretch her legs. And for O'Grady, who we mentioned had that really sore shoulder, well, she toiled as hard as she could, all things considered. And the congratulatory pats on the back were pretty gentle as she took to the bench.
Ray, really nice flick into the path of Ma. Rossbacken leads the chase back. Mires leads the charge out and puts it into the first row of seats.
That was a nice touch from Ray. We've seen that a couple of times now. Just a bit of creativity, Taylor Ray, finding some forward passes, starting to stretch this City defence. And after a passage of dominance from City, you'd have to say Victory are just starting to find their way back into this.
McKenna, bouncing ball, McNamara. Well, Morrison read it best in the end. McNamara just watched it loop away. Ray lunging for a pass she couldn't reel in. McMahon. Mires. Ball bounced right in front of 18 Keane, and maybe Nikki Flannery running into feign a contest was enough to put her off. Pickett's throw in down the line off the head of Turner. Otto, defensive header. Stott, plenty of trust in Mires. However, that clearance is sky high. Both teams watch it bounce. And the second header, Turner gets the better of Policina. Cleared by McKenna. McNamara. Pocket picked by Ma. And then Ma wants to turn and go forward, but not many options, so has to find Ray. Back to Bunge. Pickett into the middle for Rachel Lowe. Lowe being tightly worn by Leah Davidson, so that duel has resumed here in the second half. Ma shinned the ball forward only as far as McMahon. Riley Henry been a little bit quieter in the second half. Turner. And the pass is read and anticipated by Laura Pickett. And a chance for Victory to forge forward here. Pickett in two minds about where to go. Finds Policina. And Policina biding her time at the edge of the box. Pickett again. Now trying to lift across over the head of Lowe. And not enough on it to make it to Furphy. Away comes McKenna. Keane, early ball. And Bunge clears it to the line.
Feels as though Victory are still missing that target player. When they set up their defensive shape, it's Policina and Lowe leading the line. When they win back possession, there's no one really asserting themselves at the top of the line, posting up, wanting the ball to feet And because that top 3, top 4 for Victory at any given time is so interchangeable, Lowe, Furphy, Policina, there's so much movement. There's not a clear outlet. There's not a clear forward target. They're really lacking that in this game so far.
Stott drifting forward. Davidson immediately closed down by Morrison. Kayla Morrison out to the left side of midfield. Just a bit of a dash to try and take the game on, but now has to concede some ground and reset things. Don't expect to see the urgency you would if this was a one-off semi-final. It is a two-legged game, so Victory won't take any unnecessary risks chasing an equaliser here, lest they concede another.
If you look at their top third, Grace Maher has just floated into a central position, but ostensibly she's not the centre striker. Looking for the player trying to take the space. Furphy's there or thereabouts, Low interchanging in and out. But so many times Victory players, whether it be in midfield or defence, they look up, there's not a clear pass, a clear line of sight, someone to hit in their final third.
Well, last season they had Emily Gilnick, who left the club to go and continue her career in Mexico. In previous years before that, they've had Melina Ayres, such a reliable source of goals and the top scorer in all Ninja A-League finals. Today, they are toiling. Can they find the finishing touch? Here's Chelsea Blissett. Left the ball behind. Policina wheels onto her right foot and picks out Taylor Rotto. Maher, and now McKenna. Maher again. Waits for the ball to sit. Furphy in traffic. Back to Rachel Lowe. Lowe to Furphy. Flannery in the middle. A deflected cross. Takes it onto the roof of the net. And so Victory earn a corner out of an attack that just looked like it was starting to lose a bit of steam.
Well, good proactive movement from Furphy, working to keep play alive. There's the deflection. Mira's sighted all the way through.
Just the second corner of the game for Melbourne Victory. Can a set piece once again prove to be their best avenue to goal? Grace Maher on delivery, just like the first half. Maher's corner, honing in on the pack of players. Did Melena Mires get a touch? She did not. It's a goal kick. It didn't touch anyone.
A lovely shape on the delivery from Maher. And ideally, you want someone charging in, challenging that right on top of the goalkeeper who takes a swipe at it.
Bunge ducked underneath the ball almost. Just a bit preoccupied with her marker there.
Closely marshalled, and now the high press from Victory. The two in Policina and Lowe starting high.
Flannery up for the header. Maher, just a bit of space in the Victory attacking half, a rarity. Lowe can't take possession of the ball, and Stott clears away. Maher was put under the pump by that pass, had to play it first time. Now it's sent down into the corner. Keane keeping City in their attacking half. McNamara. Henry intercepted by Maher. Now Blissett stepping into a more central position as play compressed on that last phase, but now everyone spreads the pitch back out. Blissett out to the left side. Pickett making width over on the right. Receives the ball now. Down the line immediately. And Grace Maher not going to go and chase after that one.
It's the second half where Victory haven't managed to fashion a single shot on target. In fact, a single shot at all. The last shot back in the first half, in the 36th minute. This is just the containment we've seen from Melbourne City. Really disciplined. We mentioned knowing their roles, knowing their shape. Exactly that.
McNamara receives the ball in a yard of space. She can run it. Bunge here. Cuts onto her right. Blocked away. Shelby McMahon follows up. 18 Keane. Just allowed to drift into the box. Keane, decision time now. Can't find a way through. And Bunge drives it out of the box. Otto trying to turn away from Rachel Lowe and play a back pass, and Lowe's done well there to win victory and throw in. And just a little team lifting moment like that, is that the spark victory need? Lowe to Flannery. Morrison finds Blissett. Chelsea Blissett turned away from the penalty area by Briley Henry, and then Davidson comes across to concede a throw in. Morrison. Ma. Taylor Ray. Chelsea Blissett. A low driven cross. Maybe not intentionally either. Too close to the goalkeeper.
You could see Lowe and Furphy working hard off the ball, trying to create themselves a bit of space. It's just a bit over 15 minutes to go. You do wonder if you're going to see Victory start to throw a little bit more at the game, or if they're happy to carry a one-goal deficit into the second leg of this semi-final.
Well, one thing we do know for sure, if you were splitting your loyalties across multiple devices during half-time, you are forgiven, but Melbourne City's men have been knocked out in the men's elimination final, meaning that they won't be playing at AAMI Park in the semi-finals next weekend, so maybe it will be back to control cyber pitch. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, AAMI Park is proving City's friend. This would be 3 wins in a row at AAMI Park for them against the Victory in the Melbourne Derby. If they can close out this 1-0 scoreline as we tick into the final 15 minutes. Plenty still to be played. Only 1 substitution made for the entire game. So maybe we are about to see an infusion of fresh players and fresh ideas. Davidson weaving through the midfield. Beautifully done. And now plays the through ball for McNamara, and Morrison gets there first. And that was nearly, think back to the Holly McNamara hat-trick against Perth Glory when Leah Davidson played her all 3 assists.
Oh, beautiful individual run there from Leah Davidson. Such good close ball control, and left Melbourne Victory's midfield on the turf in her wake. Morrison across to cover, as she so often is.
Keane trying to run onto the throw-in. Ma sticks out the left foot, sends the ball up, and then Pickett volleys away, only as far as McMahon. Carly Rostbacken. Now Briley Henry. Rostbacken an underlapping run. Declined. Davidson. McKenna. Back to Henry. Henry trying to find a burst of acceleration, and Chelsea Blissett doing well. Not well enough to avoid conceding a corner.
Not happy about the call either, Chelsea Blissett. After that was well defended against Briley Henry. He's had to work hard this afternoon. They're coaches, these two, that generally don't turn to the bench particularly quickly in a game. Jeff Hopkins, just 2 changes last week against Canberra. Just the one, and maybe here's another on the way now. But Michael Matriciani also doesn't tend to dig too far into his bench.
So here's the corner from Letitia McKenna. and hooked it on the left foot into the near side netting. So a missed opportunity. And we're going to see the sub, Kennedy White, who flew out of the blocks. 6 goals in the first half of the season for Melbourne Victory, only 1 in the second. 10 games of the home and away season. Comes on here for Rachel Lowe. Different profile of player. And Kennedy White, who, at her best, loves breaking into open space and running with the ball. Let's see what she can bring to the final 12 minutes of play.
Well, big 12 minutes, and an important one for Kennedy White, who, as you mentioned, has gone a bit quiet as the season wore on. But big moments set up for big players, and White needs to play a really important role in the remaining minutes of this match.
Her most recent goal was on the 1st of February, 7 games ago now. The American, who joined from the Hungarian League, coming to Australia this season. And you might have just seen Laura Hughes being summoned by Melbourne City to be their first change. So I suspect it might be like for like in the centre of midfield. Just a matter of whose number gets called for Hughes, the more defensive-minded central midfielder. Here's Mires. Lines the ball up to the halfway line where Morrison heads it to McKenna. Now Turner to Keane. 18 Keane. Gives the ball away to Ma. Keane right back in. Ma goes to ground, and then a belated whistle going Victory's way. And the referee won't let Victory take the free kick quickly.
Well, it was the wrong pass from Aidan Keane in the first instance to give away possession, and then the late lunge, and she lands on the top of Grace Ma's foot, and those ones hurt. And after Keane had done well to receive possession and face forward, just couldn't find the pass through to Holly McNamara.
Lucky to get away without a card there?
Maybe a little bit, but Sophie Allen, for the most part, has let a lot play, and maybe not so lucky in the end.
Oh, there we go. So, again, belated whistle for the foul, belated card in the aftermath of the foul. 18 Keane receives a yellow. And Melbourne City are going to make their first change. It's the former Matilda, now Wales international Laura Hughes. And is this City showing their hand? They're subbing off their top-scoring striker for a defensive midfielder. Off comes Holly McNamara. Not able to find the back of the net today, but always a looming threat. And on comes Hughes. Is she in her last Ninja A-League season, having been capped by Wales during the course of the home and away rounds. Opting for the nation of her heritage, having previously played for the Matildas. And she got a role to play here in this final series, and also the final 10 minutes of this match. As Kennedy White's first touch off the bench goes out for a throw-in. Grace, what do you make of the substitution from Melbourne City?
Yeah, I think it is Michael Matriciani suggesting that Laura Hughes is a great option to come in and to settle in the final 10 or so minutes of this match. A really technical midfielder. You mentioned one time capped Matilda, now playing for Wales. Doesn't shy away from a challenge either, Laura Hughes.
I would suggest she was probably in career best form before a minor knee injury just hollowed out the middle of her season. Don't forget the elimination final to enter. Only one can leave. Melbourne Victory against Sydney FC. That's coming up on Paramount Plus and 10 drama. And unlike this match, it's a one-off game. So extra time and penalties if it can't be decided within 90 minutes. Of course, these two teams still have the second leg to think about next weekend. Ma back to Ray. Flicked on by Policina, but Taylor Otto in position. Flannery, Policina, another pass. Here's White breaking into space. Kennedy White cuts the ball back. Can't find Flannery. Furphy arrives late. Briley Henry got there first. Pickett trying to keep the ball from Keane and wins the throw-in. Is this Victory making their move? So much of the second half has been going through the motions, but now the game is perhaps coming to life, and Leah Davidson in a tangle of legs with Rihanna Pollicina.
Pollicina, of course, former City player. There's a bit of feeling behind these big matches up against your former teammates. And you get the sense there's just a little something building in Victory, perhaps the change of Kennedy White. Nikki Flannery, the other substitute. Inside 10 minutes, the crowd also building towards that big blue. Melbourne Victory, Sydney FC, as the numbers continue to grow.
Grace Maher's free kick. Morrison the target, nods it down, and a volley from Claudia Bunge. So often we see the centre-back link up. Morrison heading to Bunge or volleying to Bunge and vice versa. Not quite this time.
Well, we've seen this play a couple of times this afternoon, certainly many times over the course of their time at Melbourne Victory. Morrison just nodding back to a congested area. Bunge often the target. Wants to keep things moving and just keep things alive for Melbourne Victory. Still time.
Long clearance from Mirez. Bunge. Turner. Maher. And now White. Flick header on. Pollicina gets a little touch in. And Mirez just watching it. Roll out for a goal kick, but little flashes, sparks starting to appear.
Certainly a momentum shift. City, who were in the driver's seat for a large part of this second half, maybe just taking foot off the gas a little bit.
Melbourne City fans amusing themselves, still having fun. They're all there today to watch their women's team, of course, because game 2 in this doubleheader is Victory against Sydney FC. Wonder how many will stick around and keep the sky blue on. Here's McKenna, and driving that across the face and out.
Yeah, we'll do it now.
And it looks like there's going to be more activity down on the sidelines. Melbourne City making another sub. And it's going to be Devon Jackson, the New Zealand international, coming on for 18 Keane. Not quite Keane's day today. In a duel with Laura Pickett for much of it. And Jackson, who was starting 11 player for New Zealand as they qualified in the recent international window for the 2027 Women's World Cup. Hoping to press her case to make it to Brazil and be an important part of City's team here. Furphy. Pickett. Now Flannery trying to take on Turner. Final 5 minutes of regulation time now. Pollicina running down to the line. Not enough to win a corner though. Pickett taking the throw in quickly. Turner's header. Davidson only as far as Maher. Blissett. And Kayla Morrison. Maher. Tough pass to control for Furphy.
A shame too for Victory, because certainly the last couple of passages you have been able to feel the momentum's just start to build in Victory's favour.
The goal scorer Letitia McKenna only just shading the Paramount Plus player index. Is dominated by Melbourne City players. Melbourne Victory have subbed on Alana Janchevsky. And Chelsea Blissett leaves the game, so Janchevsky has only really moonlighted as a left back under the coaching of Jeff Hopkins, but she is, through her younger career and early days in the A-League Women's, an attacking-minded player. Also, again, another lethal set-piece potential taker for Victory, but right now it's Melbourne City with the ball, and with only 3 minutes plus stoppage of this first leg to go. And the best efforts of Davidson will keep the ball in. No. Oh, groans from the City bench.
laid plans for Leah Davidson not to be this time somewhat the enemy for victory as it ticks on closer and closer to that 90-minute mark. If victory can find one back here, what a stage that would set for the second leg of this semi-final. Brisbane Roar, Wellington Phoenix, no doubt watching on closely tonight ahead of their first leg tomorrow.
White. Jackson clears. Bunge. Ma rolls and drives the ball forward, but Melena Mirez, comfortable as you like.
Yeah, a couple of big saves from Melena Mirez this afternoon, has managed these moments really well. And what has been a well-disciplined defensive line. I've really loved the performance tonight of the number 12 for City, Shelby McMahon. I mentioned the 17-year-old a few times, but has just shielded that back three really well. Always controlling the midfield, and I love watching a defensive midfielder just constantly scanning. Great habits for a young player.
Well, Victory have the ball back, but time is their enemy here. And again, they won't necessarily take a massive risk, given that the second leg could be their opportunity to come back into the contest. Janchevski, latest player, subbed into the game. Header by Briley Henry. Both teams think it's their throw, and Melbourne City get the decision. Rossbacken down the line. Janchevski's header only as far as Hughes. Victory have the ball back once again. Janchevski conceding some ground here. Morrison across to Newbon. Newbon twisting clearance. Turner as far as Pickett. 3 additional minutes to end the game. Turner deflected off Flannery. Pickett keeps it in. Kennedy White trying to control off the midriff. The ball bounces away. Hughes. Turner. Morrison, back pass. And Newbon with McKenna pursuing. And the clearance, it just bounces past Briley Henry, and she commits a handball, desperately trying to trap the ball and return it.
Well, it was very nearly a series of unfortunate events, as Letitia McKenna there confirmed Ninja player of the match. As it stands, the goal scorer and the winner. But a hairy pass back to Newbon, who dealt with that.
And a looping ball, which is held onto by Melena Mirez. So both keepers just getting a late scare. And here's the danger of potentially just playing out time. You don't want your concentration to slip, because it could be so crucial. And if your mind has already turned to next week rather than the game at hand, it could end in disaster. Furphy is going to chase all the way back to Mirez here. Melena Mirez looking comfortable on the ball. Taylor Otto. Now Danielle Turner around the corner. Devon Jackson keeps the ball moving, but straight to Bunge. Bouncing on to Rihanna Policina. She coughs possession up. Hughes. To the last of the allocated 3 minutes. Policina holding on to Taylor Otto. Pickett steps up. Maybe one last hurrah for victory. Flannery. Furphy in space here. Backtracking midfielders chasing. Furphy holds onto the ball. Crowd a little restless. They're hoping to see one last forward foray from the victory. Morrison. And now Janchevsky lifts in the cross. It clears all the Victory attackers. And Devin Jackson had an uncontested trap to bring the ball down. Drives the ball away. Think back to the end of the first half when Victory knocked the ball around and never turned the possession into an attempt on goal. Can they go direct here? Only seconds left to play with. Furphy in a contest against Stott. And then the pass out to the right side of midfield as Victory see it. And that might be enough for Melbourne City to steer this one to the finish line. Stoppage time expires. And just a time-wasting sub here. Alexia Apostolakis is going to come on for Briley Henry here. But this might purely be for an update of the final stat sheet. Henry leaves the game, and Apostolakis on with only the referee's discretion between now and the full-time whistle. Turner down the line. Pickett's header. Davidson leaping against Bunge. McKenna shouting for a handball. Morrison to Courtney Newbon. And Newbon going direct. White leaping against Otto. Through comes McMahon. And perhaps fitting that it's another interception from Shelby McMahon. Pickett. Furphy. 1 minute beyond the allocated 3. And that will do it in the first leg of this semi-final. It is 7 in a row undefeated for Melbourne City against Melbourne Victory. And it will be Victory with a week of soul-searching to find the answers. Melbourne City, once again, able to close out a win after taking the lead. 1 goal was enough from a set piece. And Melbourne Victory not willing to take the risks today. They have kicked the can down the road to next weekend. And Jeff Hopkins knows that he has a big week of preparation ahead of him and his team. And Michael Matriciani leaves Amy Parker winner once again with Melbourne City. So that's the end of the first leg of this Ninja A-League semi-final. Melbourne Victory 0, Melbourne City 1.
Well, there we have it. It is Melbourne City who head into the second semi-final leg with the 1-0 advantage, as I'm joined by Ash Sykes. And it was our Ninja Player of the match, Ash in Letitia McKenna, who scored the one and only goal and really continuing on in her Red Hawk form.
Yeah, she was fantastic, wasn't she? Goal-scoring form in her debut for the Matildas, and she backed it up tonight with a fantastic goal from a free kick. Everyone out there for Melbourne City did their job tonight. She was one controlling the midfield, doing a few good turns, trying to create for them. I think across the park, Melbourne City were impressive.
Well, let's take a look at our Harvey Norman highlights, and it was Melbourne City off the set piece. And Ash, what's even more impressive is how they managed the lead after she scored.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like they got exactly what they needed from that point onwards, and they just settled into the game, controlled the tempo, controlled the game from there. And I think Mieres was particularly impressive as well, you know. Not time wasting, but, you know, taking her time and really being a calm presence at the back and a leader. And, you know, that's what they needed. They didn't panic. They know they've got next week, and they take a lead into that as well.
Well, we'll also have a look at our Paramount Plus player index top 10 as well, and we'll see not only Letitia up there, but their goalkeeper in Melina Mieres was also immense, made some pretty important saves, Ash, to ensure that City continued their dominance throughout the game.
Yeah, she certainly did. And in the first half, that tip onto the bar, that where it could have, you know, changed the